There comes a moment in every believer's life when silence feels louder than any answer. You raise your hands, your heart trembles, and you whisper the same prayer you've been whispering for months. Maybe even years. But still, nothing. You start to wonder, has my due been lost? Has my Lord forgotten me? No, He hasn't. When you call upon Him, your words don't disappear into the air. They rise. Every syllable, every tear, every pause between your broken sentences is carried to the one who never sleeps. Sometimes the answer is immediate. Sometimes it's delayed. And sometimes it's transformed into something beyond what you ever asked for. You see, the delay is not denial. The silence is not rejection. It is training. The heart that prays is being molded by the weight. Your patience is being stretched to fit the magnitude of the blessing that's coming. Come. You asked for something small, but God is preparing you for something greater. And greatness cannot be rushed. Think of the prophets. Those who waited not for days, not for months, but for decades. They prayed under the stars, through isolation, through betrayal, through exile. Yet they never stopped saying, "Oh, my Lord, you hear me." And they were right. Every time you say, "Ya Allah," your voice reaches a realm where time and distance mean nothing. But the truth is, faith is not easy. It's not a straight road of constant inspiration. Sometimes your chest feels heavy, your hope feels thin, and the words I keep praying sound impossible. Yet that's exactly the moment when your doer is close. The night always feels darkest before dawn, and that's not just a poetic line. It's divine design. Because dawn doesn't arrive to remind you that the night existed. It arrives to prove that it was worth enduring. The angels record every whisper. The unseen moves in ways you cannot measure. Maybe your prayer isn't answered for you yet because it's working through you first. Maybe it's changing you before it changes your life. Maybe the version of you who made the dua is not yet ready to handle its blessing, but the version of you who's still waiting is becoming ready. You think you're waiting on your dua. But maybe your dua is waiting on you to grow, to trust, to surrender completely. Do you know what hope really means? It means believing that your prayer is being answered even when everything around you screams that it's not. It means standing in the middle of a storm and still saying, "I know my Lord will not abandon me." The Prophet once said that a dua is answered as long as the servant does not say, "I prayed and I was not answered." That single sentence can destroy the entire beauty of faith. Of faith. Because when you say, "I was not answered," you forget that your prayer may already be unfolding in the unseen. Perhaps protecting you from harm, guiding someone's heart toward you, or writing a story you'll only understand years later. So keep praying. Pray. Not because you're desperate, but because you're certain. Keep whispering even when your voice trembles. Keep asking even when you've asked 1,000 times. Because your Lord never tires of listening. It is we who tire of asking. And when your time comes, and it will come, the answer will arrive with such perfection that you'll realize every tear, every sleepless night, every "why not yet" was worth it. You'll look back and understand that God was never late. He was precise. He was intentional. He was waiting for the exact moment when your heart was ready to receive what your tongue once begged for. So tonight, when you raise your hands again, don't do it with doubt. Do it with faith. Do it knowing that your dua is not floating aimlessly. It's ascending to a Lord who loves to be called upon. Your dua is closer than you think. It may be one more prayer away, one more tear away, one more moment of patience away. Every delay has a purpose, though it rarely feels that way in the moment. When your heart aches for an answer that doesn't come, when you raise your hands again and again and feel like the sky stays silent, it's easy to think you've been forgotten. But that silence is not emptiness, it's divine timing at work. Sometimes what feels like a pause is actually preparation. You ask for something now, but your Lord, in His wisdom, sees the path ahead that you cannot. He knows the precise moment when that blessing will strengthen you, not burden you. when it will elevate your faith, not distract you. Just as a seed must stay buried in darkness before it breaks the soil, your doer too needs time beneath the unseen to grow roots of patience and trust. Every delay carries a lesson. To humble your expectations, to refine your intentions, to teach your heart that faith is not about instant gratification, but about absolute reliance. You are not being denied. You are being developed. The waiting transforms you into someone capable of carrying the very blessing you long for. Many people receive what they want too soon and crumble under its weight. But those who endure the waiting are shaped by it. Their gratitude deepens, their character strengthens, their connection with their Creator matures. The pause between your prayer and its answer is not wasted time. It's sacred space where your soul learns surrender. And when the answer finally comes, and it will, you will see that every moment of waiting was building you for that exact instant. You will understand that what once felt like divine silence was actually divine mercy, protecting you from lesser outcomes and guiding you toward the perfect one. So when your prayer feels delayed, remember, God is never slow, never late, and never absent. He moves at the rhythm of perfection. He moves at the rhythm of perfection. The timing you question today will one day make you say, if it come earlier, I wouldn't have been ready. The delay is not a punishment. It's proof that your Lord loves you enough to give you what's right, not just what's fast. Even when you see nothing happening, when your life looks still and your prayers seem unanswered, there is movement in the unseen world that your eyes cannot capture. The moment you raise your hands and whisper your pain, the chain of divine response begins. Not always in ways you can measure, but always in ways that matter. Angels carry your words to the heavens, and forces beyond your sight begin to align. You might not hear the footsteps of mercy approaching, but they are already on their way. What you perceive as stillness is often a quiet preparation. The heart of another person may be softening toward you. A path you can't yet see may be clearing. A hardship that was meant for you may be diverted without your knowledge. The unseen world works in silence because faith thrives in trust, not evidence. If you could see how every moment of pain is woven into a larger plan, your heart would never question again. But you are asked not to see. You are asked to believe. When your prayer leaves your lips, it doesn't vanish into emptiness. It moves through realms that operate with precision far beyond human understanding. Every delay, every detour, every no is a redirection to something far better, something that fits the script of your destiny perfectly. You may feel forgotten, but the one you called upon has already sent comfort your way. Only it must travel through the right moments to reach you exactly when it will heal you, not just please you. This unseen movement is mercy disguised as mystery. You are not alone in the waiting. The heavens are at work, arranging outcomes that will one day make you say, "And now I understand why it had to happen this way." So, even when your eyes see nothing, let your heart know everything is in motion. The universe bends when a sincere soul prays, and the world you cannot see is busier than you imagine, carrying your hope through invisible corridors of divine order until it arrives, at the perfect time, wrapped in the wisdom of the one who never forgets. Every doer must pass through the test of patience before it reaches its fulfillment, because the journey of waiting reveals the truth of your faith. Anyone can pray once or twice when life feels heavy, but only those whose hearts truly trust, keep calling upon their Lord when the silence stretches on. The test is not meant to break you, it's meant to prove you. It separates those who believe only in comfort from those who believe in the unseen. When your prayer is delayed, it's as if the heavens are asking, "Do you trust me even when you can't see me working?" And your response, not your words, but your perseverance, becomes the real answer. Every trial you face while waiting is polishing your soul, cleansing your intentions, and strengthening your heart for the moment of divine response. The test is sacred because it's where belief turns from theory into truth. You may say you have faith, but faith without endurance is fragile. It shatters at the first sign of silence. That's why every doer walks through the fire of patience to refine your belief until it shines. Sometimes the answer doesn't come immediately because the heart that prays must first become the heart that can handle the answer. A blessing received too soon can become a burden. But a blessing received after struggle becomes a treasure. The pain of waiting softens your ego, humbles your expectations, and teaches you to rely not on outcomes, but on the one who controls them. And when that day finally comes, when the answer you've prayed for unfolds before your eyes, you'll understand that the waiting was never empty. It was faith in motion. It was God shaping you through the very silence you once resented. So when your doer seems unanswered, don't rush to doubt. Remember that the greatest souls were tested not because they were weak, but because they were chosen. Their prayers passed through storms before reaching the shore. Yours might be doing the same. Every unanswered moment is a chapter in a story, being written for your growth, not your despair. Hold on, because the test you endure today will one day become the testimony that strengthens someone else's faith tomorrow. The moment you feel like giving up is often the exact moment your breakthrough is close, but it's also when faith feels the heaviest to carry. Why? Every soul reaches that point where the waiting feels endless, where the same prayer echoes in your heart and you start to wonder if it even matters anymore. But that moment of exhaustion is not the end of your journey. It's the final gate before relief. The struggle you feel is proof that your prayer is still alive, still reaching upward, still being written into your destiny. The universe doesn't reward those who stop. It rewards those who keep moving, even when their feet tremble. Consistency in prayer is a declaration of trust. It says, even if I see nothing, I still believe something is happening. Every time you repeat your dua, you are knocking on the same door. And every knock is loosening the lock a little more. You may not notice it, but with each prayer, your heart becomes stronger, your hope deeper, and your soul more aligned with what you seek. The pain of persistence is the weightlifting of faith. The more you endure, the greater your spiritual strength becomes. When you give up, you stop right before the finish line, right before the unseen turns visible. Imagine if every prophet had stopped when the struggle grew unbearable. Their stories would have ended in despair, not in miracles. Their perseverance was not because they didn't feel pain, but because they knew that divine timing demands divine patience. So when you reach that breaking point, when your hands feel too heavy to lift in prayer, know that the light you've been waiting for is just behind the wall you're tempted to stop knocking on. Keep praying, even if your words are silent tears. Keep believing, even if hope feels fragile. Because the moment your heart whispers, I can't do this anymore, the heavens whisper back, we're almost there. The breakthrough you seek is not somewhere far away. It's one breath of faith beyond your weariness. That is the secret of consistency. Not doing more, but refusing to stop. The miracle you're waiting for may already be unfolding, waiting for your final act of endurance to meet it halfway. Hope is not the absence of pain. It is the decision to trust even when your heart is breaking. Real faith is not born in moments of comfort, but in the nights when your tears become your only prayer. To hold on to hope when everything around you is collapsing requires courage. A courage that comes not from knowing the outcome, but from knowing the one who controls it. Life was never meant to be free from hardship. It was designed to test what you truly believe. When pain visits you, it whispers lies, that you're forgotten, that your prayers are wasted, that your Lord is silent. But faith answers back with truth. You are seen, you are heard, and this storm has meaning. Trust is not about feeling strong. It's about refusing to let despair define you. Hope doesn't erase pain, but it gives pain a purpose. It transforms suffering into patience, confusion into wisdom, and waiting into worship. Even when your emotions crumble, your belief can remain standing. You can cry and still believe. You can feel broken and still trust. Because hope is not a feeling, it's a choice you make every single day to believe that there is light beyond the darkness. The prophets were not strangers to sorrow. They faced rejection, loneliness, and loss. Yet, they never let their pain dictate their faith. They cried, they grieved, they prayed, but they never stopped believing. And that is the lesson for every heart that struggles, to understand that pain and faith can coexist. Your tears do not mean you're weak, they mean you're human. And even through your weakness, your Creator sees strength in your persistence. When you continue to pray through pain, you prove that your faith is deeper than your emotion. You show that your connection with God is not built on conditions but on trust. One day, when relief comes, you'll realize that every painful moment was carving out space in your heart, space that only peace could later fill. So when hope feels distant, remind yourself it was never meant to be easy. Hope is not the escape from pain. It is the light you carry through it step by step, until the dawn finally breaks. Every tear that falls from your eyes is seen. Every sigh you release in the quiet of the night is heard. And every heartbreak you carry is recorded with divine care. Nothing you feel is overlooked or dismissed by the one who created your heart. When you cry in solitude, thinking no one understands, the heavens bear witness to your pain. The angels write down each moment of struggle, each prayer whispered through trembling lips. Your sorrow is not a secret, it's sacred. The most merciful collects your tears as proof of your faith, as evidence of a soul still turning to Him even when the world feels cold. Sometimes you may wonder why your pain lingers, why relief doesn't arrive immediately. But in that hidden space of suffering, something beautiful is happening. Your heart is being softened, your sins are being washed away, and your soul is being raised higher than it ever could be in comfort. Those tears are not signs of weakness. They are signs of a heart still alive, still believing, still hopeful. Every time you cry for the sake of God, every time you endure silently, you are drawing closer to Him in ways that joy could never achieve. The pain you carry is not wasted. It's transformed into mercy that will greet you on the day when every secret is revealed. Even the smallest ache in your chest is known to Him. And He promises that not a single hardship will go unrewarded. What you lose in tears, you gain in closeness. What you endure in silence, you receive in divine attention. So when you find yourself crying again over the same wound, remember that your tears are prayers too, prayers without words, but powerful enough to reach the throne. You may wipe them away in shame, but they are seen and cherished by the one who never overlooks a heart that calls upon Him. The world may forget your pain, but your Lord never will. Every tear carries a story that heaven listens to, and every sorrow you endure writes your name among those who remained patient when it hurt the most. Nothing you feel is wasted. It's all being written into your story of redemption and divine love. The prayer you once made with trembling hands, the one you thought was forgotten, still lives on in the unseen world. A doer never dies. It simply continues its journey until the moment it is destined to return to you. Sometimes the answer doesn't come in the form you expected, and sometimes it arrives years later, wrapped in a wisdom you couldn't have understood back then. You might have prayed for a door to open, and instead another one closed, only for you to realize later that it was protection, not rejection. Every sincere prayer is preserved, waiting for its appointed time to unfold. The delay does not mean your words vanished. It means your Lord is saving the answer for the moment when it will serve your soul best. Your doer is like a seed planted deep within the soil of divine decree, unseen but alive, growing roots in silence until the right season brings it to bloom. The mercy of God ensures that every genuine plea either comes back to you as what you asked for, as protection from something harmful, or as a treasure waiting in the hereafter. So, in truth, no prayer ever goes unanswered. It just finds its place in the perfect order of eternity. Sometimes the dua you made years ago begins to manifest in small ways. A sudden opportunity, a person crossing your path, a hardship that strengthens your faith. You may not connect these moments to your old prayer, but the unseen threads tie them all together. What you thought was forgotten was only waiting for the right version of you to receive it. Your heart changes, your circumstances evolve, and what you once begged for might come back in a better form than you imagined. That's how divine wisdom works. It takes your prayers, reshapes them, and delivers them when both your faith and your life are ready. So never regret a dua that seems unanswered. It's not lost. It's alive in the unseen, waiting to return to you at the most beautiful time. One day you'll look back and realize every unanswered prayer was simply a promise waiting to bloom, proving that your Lord heard you all along.